Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Google Ads webinar. My name is Steve, your host for today, and I'm joined by Cathy Peterson, the Director of Search Engine Marketing at Surefire Local, and Nikki Walsh, Agency Development Manager at Google, who are both eager to share with you the latest trends, tips you'll want to know, as well as building blocks for what looks like a winning advertising strategy. And I have two quick housekeeping items for you before we jump in. In case you're not familiar with who we are, Surefire Local helps you and your team make online marketing easy. We do that by providing your business a next generation software with a user-friendly platform that's available everywhere you need it across devices and browsers. And with this platform, you can remove digital roadblocks hindering your growth, gain data-driven insights, and take action from anywhere to attract and engage customers through multi-channel measurable marketing. So in other words, our software helps transform you into a local marketing superhero with some fun superpowers that make it easier to grow your business. And this webinar will be recorded. You will receive an email later this afternoon with a link to watch the replay as well as view the presentation. So feel free to sit back, listen, and take it all in while you're here. And you can send in any questions you think of using the questions tab, which you should see in the GoToWebinar control panel. And I'll collect them all up and then we'll have an open Q&A at the very end. So Cathy and Nikki have a lot of great content to share with you. So I won't take up any more of our time together. So over to you, Nikki.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. My name is Nikki Walsh. I'm an agency development manager at Google. And I've been at Google almost 6 years working with agencies like Surefire Local on marketing strategies. We're excited to talk to you today about some of them here. Next, I'm going to go into the agenda. So what are we covering today? We have a jam-packed agenda. First, we're going to dive into some industry trends and insights, especially in light of COVID and just kind of what we're seeing in the market for everyone's awareness. Next, we're going to talk about Google search advertising and our different products. And then I'm going to pass it over to Cathy to talk about successful search campaign best practices, how Surefire Local can help you, and then ending with a quick Q&A. Ready? So today we are going to talk about, as I mentioned, search trends that we are seeing here at Google and how you can capture that demand and drive business results. So the way that people are searching has evolved. Consumers today exist in a constant state of learning and consumptions, and advertisers need to evolve to address this change. And it's fair to say that catching a customer's attention in today's world has become more difficult than ever before. In fact, on average, consumers get exposed to roughly 5,000 ads per day, or in other words, they see an ad every 17 seconds. Globally, users are becoming more and more connected. Connected devices are expected to more than double from 2017 to 2020, which makes it increasingly important for your business to be present during the moments that matter. For example, when a user is searching for a certain service that you offer, or when you appear to your target audience when they're watching an automotive DIY video tutorial on YouTube. There are various touch points where you can be present and impactful to those users. Consumer behavior is indeed changing. Consumers today are curious and more impatient than ever before, and they expect results to be relevant and helpful. We're seeing more searches related to instant gratification. In fact, we're actually seeing over 200% increase on where to buy and near me searches on mobile in the past 2 years. So searches like where to buy flowers near me, why to buy stamps near me, and these trends have only accelerated in light of COVID. And when people search for a product or service on Google, they want to find exactly what they're looking for quickly. We've also seen a 125% increase in search terms like best, and right now, searches on mobile in the last 2 years. So best phones out right now, best SUV lease deals right now, searches like that. And not only are users searching differently, but with the increased usage of assistance, users are searching in a more natural and personal way with long sentences. In fact, 27% of the global online population is using voice search on mobile. So now, based on the attendees that registered for this webinar, we wanted to actually highlight a few top verticals where we're seeing some interesting trends that are relevant to your business. So first, we're going to start with home improvement and maintenance category, where we saw some interesting fluctuations in light of COVID. As you can see on the red and yellow lines here, the seasonality is quite consistent when it comes to this industry with year-over-year relative to that trend. In light of COVID and stay-at-home orders and more people working from home, we've seen explosive growth in search demand for the category overall throughout spring and summer 2020. And we've seen a steady taper down from the initial spike, but the year-over-year growth trend is still impressive and stands. According to a report by Statistica, 3 out of 4 homeowners made improvements to their homes over the COVID outbreak. There's a lot of uncertainty right now as we move forward into the colder months and more potential lockdowns across the country, but we should be prepared to capture the current and future demand based on these search trends that we're seeing in the market right now. And if anything rings true, it's that when people are home more often, they want to make their spaces more enjoyable. The next category that we're going to look at that had pretty impressive trends was vehicle repair and maintenance. You could see here again that 2019 and 2018, pretty consistent seasonality when you look at that red and yellow line relative to year-over-year growth. However, if you look at the blue line, that's 2020, we saw a different trend. With COVID impacting the way that we get to work, people using less public transportation, financial employment implications to millions across the country, we've seen trends for new vehicle searches taper off and used vehicle searches increase 33% year over year and have been roaring back since April. And with that said, people looking towards used vehicles and continuing to own and maintain their existing vehicles, people are searching for auto parts more than ever. So at the start of the year, we saw healthy growth in demand across auto parts, while COVID only briefly impacted that year-over-year growth in some categories. But now we're back to not only pre-COVID levels, but accelerating across the board. When we look at recent data from Q3 2020, we're actually seeing search volume for auto parts related queries growing fast at 16% year-over-year alone. Another category that we're seeing interesting trends for is tax preparation and planning. Seasonality and trends in 2019 and 2018 were nearly identical with slight year-over-year increases. However, you could see that red and that yellow line nearly right on top of each other. But 2020 brought new trends. First, we saw a spike in April at the beginning of COVID, unlike any other spike that we see here, as searchers look towards finalizing their taxes before the lockdowns. And again, we saw a spike in July as the IRS extended the tax payment deadlines to July without penalty. With all of the challenges that we're facing in 2020, ranging from unemployment and closed businesses and lockdowns, it's really hard to say what 2021 is going to look like, but could imagine that a lot of Americans need help and support more than ever to get the most out of their tax returns, which are also going to be a lot more complicated to file for their 2020 year. And lastly, another category that we're going to highlight here from search trend perspective is attorneys and law firms. So we saw searches decrease in the onset of COVID for Q2, but have since saw a steady increase in Q3. One unique trend that we saw was that searches for unemployment lawyer near me are actually up 250% year over year, as many Americans struggle for support during this difficult time. So now that we've reviewed some key trends for specific verticals, let's jump into the opportunity with Google's products. Google Ads lets you be there during the moments that matter across Google's 8 different properties, which touch 1 billion users via our different solutions. Through these different solutions, you'll be able to plan your online strategy to turn online users into loyal customers depending on your marketing objectives. Now let's take a look at a standard search results page on Google, just to kind of highlight the different products, which ones are paid versus organic. So here on the standard search results, a user is searching for roofing contractors. To some users, this may all seem like native content, and that's how we want it to look and feel in order to show the most relevant results based on that user's intent for that specific query, taking millions of signals like time of day, location into account to be able to surface these results. And that's why it's critical to understand the placements, how they work, and make sure that you're optimizing your presence across the search engine results page with your digital marketing strategy. So first here at the top, we're doing a search for roofing contractors. You'll see paid local service ads. The local service ad unit is shown at the top of the search results. So they'll be first and foremost when I have a relevant search to where we could surface local service ads to those consumers looking with that intent. Local service ads makes it easy for local providers to connect with people who search on Google for the services that they offer. So if you're a roofing contractor, local service ads is something that is great for your marketing strategy. Local providers like you can advertise their services and get leads in the areas that you choose, while also being able to track your performance and staying in control of your bookings within the mobile app. Customers can see the business information, read reviews, and get in touch directly within that ad. And the Google guarantee or Google screens, they'll know that the services that they book are with a qualified, trusted professional and that their satisfaction is backed by Google. So those are the local service ads at the very top. Again, that's a paid placement. The second in blue that you'll see is these are the standard search text ads. So these are paid search text ads. You'll typically see these along the edge of the page. So the top here, like shown, sometimes you'll also see them on the side, the right-hand side, or also the bottom of the search results page. Google matches the ads to a person's search based on how closely the search matches to your keywords and your campaign settings. And the ads are ordered based on a combination of your bid, your cost per click bid, and your relevance to that search result. The next, you will see the map there with 3 different results. Those are actually being pooled. So if you want to show up there, those are being pulled by Google My Business listings. So as a local business, you absolutely should have a Google My Business page listing, because we know the user's location and the intent. For example, to find roofing contractors, we are able to use data from all of the thousands and millions of Google My Business listings to be able to surface which ones are the most relevant listings to that user at that point in time for that search. So these results are organic, so they're not paid, and it's free to you to go set up a Google My Business listing and maintain it. So it's important for you to ensure that you've gone, claimed, and verified your Google My Business listing, and are also actively keeping it up to date with contact information, business hours if they've adjusted with COVID, any kind of other updates. You could upload photos, videos, and you could download the Google My Business app to more easily manage your business profile and attract and engage with customers on the go. And lastly, you'll see the organic search results at the bottom, which appear usually around the middle of the page. Google indexes billions of websites and matches a site to a person's search using information like text on the page and links to that page. And the results are ordered on the page based on things like relevance and to the search term and popularity. So now that we reviewed kind of an example search results page, and you guys could visually understand what are those different placements and where they sit within the results. It's key to understand the 4 different placements there to really understand where and how you could capture demand for when people are searching for you and your services. So this bubbles down into 4 key ways a local business can ensure they're showing up in relevant searches on Google Ads. As I mentioned previously, showing up in the organic search results and managing your Google My Business listing are both free and 2 placements that you should be optimizing towards and claiming and taking advantage of. But although if you really want to make sure that you're capturing users searching for you and your services with engaging ad formats and calls to action at the top of the search results page, it's critical that you're working with a partner like Surefire Local to set you up for success on Google Ads and local service ads. There are many benefits to working with a strategic partner like Surefire Local to grow your digital presence. Surefire Local is a longtime Google Premier badged partner and has achieved certain standards set in place by Google across performance, growth and retention of clients, and product certification. We work with Surefire Local daily on product strategy and how to achieve the best results for our shared customers. And being a Google Premier badged partner gives Surefire Local a larger support team here at Google, access to exclusive trainings, new product updates, access to betas for key customers, and support resources. Google has access to more signals and insights than ever to help empower you to form deeper consumer understanding. And Surefire Local has built their strategy around Google's smart technology, which leverages real-time signals and machine learning to drive both relevance and search results for your digital marketing campaigns. So with that said, now I'm going to pass it over to Cathy Peterson, Surefire Local's Director of Digital Advertising, to walk you through the successful search campaign best practices that they have built for customers like you.
Thank you, Nikki. That was an awesome presentation. Some really great insights there. Hopefully you guys, it gets you all excited about the potential for next year for your advertising plans, and also kind of giving you an idea of what, this past year and previous years look like. I think for many of you, search advertising may be a bit intimidating, but I think what I'd love to share is that it's Surefire's passion. We love helping our customers, and some of the reasons why is because, we like to go beyond just a simple setup of a campaign with a handful of keywords and a couple ads in target cities. We actually kind of geek out a bit, and we find using technology to analyze the data for actionable insights, optimizing campaigns for performance, and connecting our customers with their customers pretty exciting. Whether you're right now managing your own search campaign in-house using another agency, or even looking for maybe Surefire to manage those things, I think that today's presentation is going to be loaded with a lot of best practices that you can use. Hopefully you'll find it interesting and useful to help find, customers for your business. Sorry. First, just, before you begin any sort of campaign, the first best practice is really for you to, set goals and determine what success looks like. Even if you spend hours doing keyword research or crafting really compelling messaging, it can be difficult to, determine how well your campaign is doing if you don't actually set your goals. While goals could be anywhere from growing your website traffic to increasing brand awareness, the majority of local businesses, our customers that we serve today, really are all about wanting leads and needing leads. So the presentation that we put together today really focuses around lead generation best practices using search. So I know this is a pretty heavy slide, but it's really just meant to, talk about if your goal is to get leads, know that Surefire's goal is to get you quality, cost-effective leads. To do this, we pull a lot of levers. There are a lot of things that we can do with our strategy and approach that includes, technology, insights, and best practices to get you those results. Before we dive into some of the best practices, I wanted to take a moment to explain what ad rank is and how very important it is to the optimal performance of your campaign. The best practices that we go through in today's presentation do touch on improving in ad rank as well as performance. Ad rank determines your position on the search engine page, or it actually determines whether your ad will show up at all. It is calculated or recalculated each time your ad is eligible to appear and compete in an auction, and your ad position can fluctuate each time, depending on competition, context, or the context of the person's search and the quality in that moment. There's a formula, and I know you all didn't come to do math today, but there's a formula that's really important to know that is used to calculate your ad rank or your position on the page. And that takes into consideration max bid, the most you're willing to pay, and your quality score. Some of the things that are really important to know is, if people think that, oh, if I bid the highest, I'm going to get the highest position, and that's not always true. Google takes into consideration the quality experience that you put together to make sure, your ad quality is good, your landing quality is good. How does that compare against the competition? What is the intent of the searcher, and a couple other factors. So I think that's really important to know that, you don't always have to bid the highest to be at the top of the page. And being at the top of the page often means more leads and at a lower cost. The next area that I wanted to cover is basically the organization of your campaign. It's really important to build a solid foundation for your search campaigns. The campaign account consists of campaigns, ad groups, ads, keywords, and other targeting methods to improve reporting, as well as making your management easier. Organization is really important. It makes sure that your searches trigger ads that are relevant for your audience, results in better quality and ad rank, as we mentioned earlier, helps to keep you organized, and you're able to analyze your results and optimize your campaign performance better. Sharing with you here just a couple of these are some tips for you about how we organize our campaigns for better results. A couple rules and guidelines. First and foremost, it's a best practice to keep search ads and display ads separate. They have different targeting, different goals, different things. So for better organization, we like to keep them separate. When it comes to search ads, we like to keep our non-brand keywords, such as your products and services, separate from your brand, which is your company name. This helps us because, once again, different budgets, different goals, different results, we can do different kinds of optimizations with it. The next thing is that we also run really tight ad groups with highly relevant keywords and very relevant ad copy that ties back up to your keywords and ad groups and your campaigns, so that you could get the best possible quality score, which leads to a really good ad rank, which, as we mentioned earlier, helps to get you to the top of the page for lower costs. Next, I want to talk about targeting. Targeting is really important, and while search advertising, most people think about keywords as targeting. There's a lot more that you can actually do for targeting, and it's really important to invest the time to set up your targeting so you really can find the right people looking for your products and services. The first thing we think about is keywords, which are the words the advertisers use to tell search engines what they are, what searches they want their ads to show on. For example, if you're an auto repair business, you could use auto repair shop near me to capture local searches for people who are looking to set an appointment to have their car fixed. However, there are even more settings that Google offers, and I'm going to show them here with you now. And be assured, Surefire uses all the possible targeting settings to kind of hone in on the right customer for you, your ideal customer. So, some of these include, you may have realized, to be local, we were able to use locations. Google uses zip codes, cities, DMAs, states, all kinds of things to actually target in on. And, that it's really helpful to find and only serve ads to places where your customers are. Another one that a lot of people are less familiar with, but is becoming more and more robust, is audience and demographic targeting. We use interests, behaviors, demographics, and other kinds of targeting within our campaigns to try to find people who are more interested and more likely to be in the buying cycle right now. Those could be homeowners, those could be, people who are, in a purchasing mode for an HVAC system, or it could even be, somebody who's maybe more, maybe has more discretionary income, and maybe they're, affluent, avid investors. So there's all kinds of ways we can layer those into our campaigns to boost performance. Additionally, devices targeting is getting more and more sophisticated. And with the increase in mobile searches that Nikki had mentioned earlier, it's really important to really think about and target specifically to mobile and desktop similarly, and there are things that you can do differently. And Surefire does a lot of work around that to help our customers get better results. The other thing that's a lot of people may or may not know that's really important is the things that we block. And we use negative keywords. We have really robust keywords that, really knock out keywords that don't make sense. An example would be, if you're a roofer or a siding company and you want to capture customers who want repair jobs or replacement jobs, you can, use those keywords, but it's possible that maybe you get supplies or shingles or, things like that to show up in your campaigns, and you don't want those to. You don't want to pay for those, and you don't want those showing up because it could hurt your quality score, which could hurt your ad rank. So use a negative keyword for shingles or supplies, and those, terms won't show up. The other thing you can do for locations, devices, and audiences are exclusions. And, so that is one of the other things that you can do, is block any audiences that maybe you don't want your ads to show as well. And one of the things I forgot to mention here is you can also use ad schedule to help optimize your campaigns. What we find is customers typically will make sure they're running from 8 to 5, and absolutely want to show up from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock, which are peak hours. And even think about, showing up later in the evening for researchers. So there's things that you can do around there to optimize performance there as well. The next area I wanted to talk to is keywords. And as we mentioned earlier, keywords are a lot of things that people think about immediately with search. Keywords are the basis for any search campaign. So ensuring your setup maximizes performance is crucial. At Surefire, we really do align keyword strategy with our customers' marketing objectives. We go through an intake process and a discovery process to come up with those. Then we use keywords to be able to get the right customers or the right searches for our customers' ad. There's a couple different types of match types, which if you're not familiar with match types, this helps us to, whether it be broad match where it reaches the widest audience. Your ad is eligible to appear when the searches are similar to the keyword. In this case, bathroom remodeling is the keyword. It could be very similar to it, or it could actually be a synonym to it. So if you're bathroom remodeling, you could be showing up for bathroom remodelers, but you could also be showing up for Home Depot, bath remodel, and competitors. And so negatives are really important here. If there's keywords that you don't want to show up for, that you actually do put negative keywords against these broad match terms so you don't get inefficient terms. The next match type is broad match, and it's kind of modified broad match, and it's the middle ground between what we'll talk next about is phrase match, but it's not quite as broad as broad match. There's a little plus sign that you put in front of it, and that indicates that word has to show up in the search query. So it's a great way to get long tail search terms without getting really inefficient. Phrase match, on the other hand, appears when you have a query that is like a string of keywords in that word order. An example of that would be if your keyword was bath remodeling and we phrase matched it, then as you see, best bathroom remodeling company would show up because bathroom remodeling is in that keyword. This is great for also when we're trying to track people who are doing geographic terms. Bathroom remodel in such as Atlanta would be an example that the phrase match could show up for as well. And then finally, just to get to what exact match is really highly efficient. We use a lot of exact match that are high volume keywords such as terms with near me. So if we were to say window replacement near me or bath remodel near me, we would be able to go after those type of terms there. And we really go after high value keywords that show a large intent to purchase. So those are some of the match types. And match type exact match is basically, it's exactly what it is. If someone types in bathroom remodel will show up. But Google has in recent times becoming a little more thematic around that with what's called close variants. So if bathroom remodeling is your keyword and you've got an exact match, it's possible to show up for bathroom remodel, remodeling, or remodels and remodeler. But and that big tip that we give across all our campaigns in terms of helping with efficiency with match types is really, to build a really strong negative keyword list like we talked about on the broad match, but really thinking about the keywords you don't want it to show up for and building out a list to do that is really a great way to optimize your campaigns. Next, I really want to talk about ad copy, because when we target and we do a good job of finding the right customers or prospects, the next thing is they see an ad. And you really want your ad to stand out above your competition. The first thing that you really need to do is make sure that you write a clear and concise, easy to understand type of message. But really, some of the things, the best practices that we recommend, and is also part of Google's best practices for helping with ad rank, is including keywords that are relevant to your product and service. So if somebody searches for a roofing contractor, having a keyword in the headline and the description that references back to being roofing contractor or roofing company or within that theme will help to one, have the user understand that what they searched for you offer, and then also Google understands that it's relevant and it helps with an ad rank. The other thing that really stands out and makes a compelling offer is going to be trust signals like warranties, certifications, awards. Having that in your ad copy is tends to help stand out. A lot of times if you go to search engine results, they start to look the same, and it's we work with our customers to try to pull out their personality and their unique selling propositions into the ads. Also that works out is having a compelling offer, a promotion, or in some cases, especially during COVID, when people were looking to have work done but had uncertain economic times, financing offers were really strong. So those became a really part of common practice in a lot of the ad copy that improved performance. And then also having strong call to actions. Get a free consultation, get a free quote, speak with an expert, things like that drive people to take action is important. And then especially if you have a strong brand reputation or online reputation, it's really good for you to include your company name in your ad copy, especially, as I said, if it helps. Oops, sorry, little pause there. Finally, getting to the end of the best practices, one of the main things we talked about earlier is, setting goals. And really, it's very important to do that, but equally as important is being able to track and measure your success. So what's really important when you set up your campaigns is to ensure that you have your tracking setup. So if you could answer any of these questions, whether it's, do you want to know what's working and what's not working on your campaign? Do you want to optimize towards performance? Do you want to save money, or you want a return on investment? If you want any of those things, then setting up tracking is really important. And so some of the things that Surefire does, at a minimum, we do with all our customers, is make sure that we set up for conversions, or to track leads. And the first thing is, at the ad, we can set up click call extensions on the ad. If you see up here in the left hand corner, the first ad here, there's a call number. But then also, when they get to your website, we set up call tracking so that you're able to, if somebody calls from a paid ad, we're able to tell that it was a call from our ads, not that it was some general number. And then we kind of there's the thought process that you have to kind of figure out, was it from search? You don't have to ask the question when they call in, did you hear us from search? Because we'll be able to track those things. Those are good to know if you want to ask your customers that, but we're able to more definitively tell you it came from search. And then the other one is, if you have a web form on your website, which is great best practices, you can also set up web form tracking. Other kinds of tracking might be if you have chat, or if you have other actions that indicate engagement, or potentially a lead. Those are also make for good conversion tracking as well. And then, Surefire, we actually, help our customers to look at those results in our reporting. And we even have the ability for people to go back and listen to the phone calls, and, decide, was it a good call? Was it bad? You can put that call disposition, not that calls come in that, existing customers may be using, for organic or something like that. But if somebody is calling in and you said that was a good lead, you can mark that. So, and you can even come back, or it's even great if you're trying to train a phone person, you could go listen to phone calls and see how they're doing and coaching them. So that's kind of a cool feature. So speaking of why Surefire, so I just wanted to, kind of tell you a little bit about Surefire. But before I do, I wanted just see if some of these pain points sound familiar to you, because a lot of times this is some of the things we hear from our customers. The first thing is, advertising platforms like Google or even Facebook or Bing, they make it sound very simple, but it's also easy to make costly mistakes without knowing it. I can't tell you how many times I've heard customers say, I just didn't mean to have the budget turned on, that high, and they burned through some budget or things like that. So, having expertise is important to, if it's not something you do full time and you can't monitor. The other, is like that we hear often is they don't have time. You have a business, you're an auto repair shop, you're a roofing company, you're a lawyer, you're a tax professional, a CPA, and you don't have time to be getting into Google, learning Google or Facebook or some of these things. So these are really good, to hire out to somebody who has that expertise, so you can focus on growing your business. And the other thing we do hear from people who are thinking, hey, I would like an in-house person. I've got other things they can do, besides marketing or that. But the problem is finding somebody that's affordable with the expertise level you need to run digital advertising isn't always very easy. So we often get kind of asked, what, should you go in-house or outsource? And I won't go through each one of these. You'll get this slide and you can kind of take away and you can kind of think about it. But if you're trying to decide, I think that there's some factors obviously to consider: cost, speed to getting to market, scale, if you have to grow, what does that look like? The quality of your campaigns, which we did a lot of talking about on this webinar, and also just the stress, having to manage, people, manage campaigns, learn technology, all those different things that are outside of your core business. Before I give you my thoughts further on this, I think you should know a little bit about me. I work for big brands, national brands, small local businesses. I've managed agencies and I've worked for agencies. I've built and run in-house teams And I was also a one-person jack of all trades marketing person for my husband's chimney sweep company. So I think what I'm trying to say is to you all, I get it. And from a budget perspectives, coming from my personal experience, I'd say in all seriousness, I'd hire Surefire Local to help navigate that digital space. You know, if you have the resources, maybe you do want to hire someone in-house, a manager or something that can help you with the marketing, but doesn't need to be an expert. But if you don't have the resources, you know, you're a smaller company, you know, getting started, maybe, you know, having a Surefire as your partner to help you navigate through the digital space is a great idea. I think having a solid marketing program could be really the difference between growing your business or spending your valuable time and money on things that may not hit your goals. You know, so anyway, we've come to the end of our webinar. Before we head off to the Q&A, just let me share that, you know, I joined Surefire Local to help small businesses grow, like my husband's business. Truly, our product is something I'm proud of and confident to share with you, and all the best practices we talked about go into building and managing our customers' campaigns. And we do really care about results for our customers. You know, our packages, they can be do-it-yourself type packages or professionally managed packages, and they do everything from, you know, goals-based campaigns to reporting all in one place. It's all there. And so if you're interested in learning more, please do reach out. Steve will tell you more about that. So thank you, Nikki, for helping out and giving us some really great insights. And thank you all for your time today.